Welcome to the CBIA BizCast powered by Google. I'm Amanda Marla with CBIA, and today we are joined by Mike LaBella, the Commercial Market President for TD Bank in Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Southeastern Massachusetts.
You got them all.
All right, well, we are so excited to have you here, and TD Bank is the title sponsor for CBIA's Made in Connecticut Manufacturing Summit later this month, October 27th. So we're really excited for that. And excited to hear from you a little bit about what you guys have been doing in Connecticut.
Great, thanks Amanda, it's great to be here.
And so I do want to talk about the summit a little bit later on, but for now let's start. Tell us a little bit about TD Bank's presence in Connecticut. Connecticut was one of the first places.
Yeah, we've been in Connecticut a long time. Many people may remember Bank North and TD Bank North, so it's been a growing history in Connecticut. But at this point, we're 56 branch locations, our stores as we call them, $9.5 billion in deposits and 700 employees, 3 regional offices. So we were well committed to the state with a lot of employees and personal stories here.
For the bank itself, you guys are doing a lot of work with individuals, but also a lot of businesses. Why do you think that Connecticut is a good place, for TD Bank, but also for these businesses that are working here?
You know, a lot comes down to the workforce, and we have a very highly educated workforce. And when you look at that workforce and look at the industries that we serve, everything from aerospace to pharmaceutical to insurance, it's really the manufacturing base, submarine building. I mean, we do it all here. And for a small state, we have, an incredible array of top-notch industries and again, a very highly educated workforce.
Yeah, there's so many different manufacturing programs, whether it's from UConn or one of the community colleges that are feeding in. Yeah,
the colleges have really stepped up with advanced manufacturing courses to really help the manufacturing base. We can always use more, but it's certainly a help to the industry. And
over the years, I know TD Bank has worked with so many different manufacturers, but during the pandemic, you became crucial to so many businesses, especially with the PPP loans. Can you tell me a little bit about that, kind of now reflecting on it?
We stepped forward with billions of dollars in loans. We're coming to the end of that now, but companies, it was really their lifeline for many companies. It provided them the ability to keep their employee base, and while also changing their manufacturing style. Some had to go to obviously a remote workforce, others changed their product to provide personal protection devices. So it was really an incredible couple years, really, to see what happened in the manufacturing space.
And how do you think, we talked to a couple of different manufacturers who said, we needed TD Bank through that. Why do you think that it was, you guys played such an important role, or how do you think that you supported them best?
It really was supporting, the funds were there. And it's, as especially now, we're really seeing the benefit of supporting the workforce. Because had we lost more of our workforce and not being able to pay them and keep them on payroll, we could have lost even more of our critical workforce in Connecticut. So I think we're shorthanded now. We're not back to where we need to be, but it could have been much, much worse had we not stepped up and really protected our workforce.
And TD Bank really assisted in helping companies figure out the funding and how they could keep things going, even though maybe they weren't bringing in as much money.
Yeah. Some companies did very well. Others, obviously, different industries, as we all know, hospitality still isn't back to where it was, but that's certainly an area that suffered the most. But some industries actually did okay during the pandemic, and the PPP money certainly helped.
And we know that there's so many aspects to the pandemic that are continuing we're feeling the brunt of them. Supply chain is just one example. How is TD Bank working to continue to help supporting these small businesses?
It's interesting. A year ago, we sat here and we looked at near 0% interest rates. We looked at still being just coming out of the pandemic, not knowing where the economy was going to go. And today we have 8% inflation, the highest in 30 years. We have interest rates that are rising. And it just shows, what businesses in and of themselves have to go through and how fast they have to change. And we're really there to support them because, as you look at manufacturers today, just saying that they're going from, raw material purchase to work in process to finished goods to selling a product, just that one statement takes in so many different parts of the economy. So today, with a very strong dollar, companies importing are getting the benefit of that. So you may be saving money on being able to import, so providing letter of credit facilities, foreign exchange facilities. Companies also, because of the supply chain issues, still need to be very nimble. So they need to be able to buy machinery quickly. Manufacturers, we all know, capital-intensive industry. You can't wait for financing. So we're encouraging our borrowers and our customers, set up the lines in place now. Set up a working capital facility. Set up a letter of credit, foreign exchange facility. Set up a line to be able to buy machinery and equipment very quickly. So, cash is still king. So if you're first in line, a manufacturer is going to sell to you if you have the cash to buy versus waiting for financing. So a lot of the economics have changed. Again, if you're an exporter today, again, a very different situation. Your costs with a strong dollar, you're really trying to protect your profit margin. So again, we're stepping in to try and help with some of those equipment purchases that can make companies more nimble and more streamlined.
So are you seeing a lot of companies starting to do that to prepare? I guess, everyone had an idea of what was coming, but really starting to prep for even what's coming down the road.
Yeah, I think some of the, I don't think we expected the level of inflation, especially wage inflation. And of course, when you're in an economy that is already short of labor, that is really going to impact your business. So can you use robotics? Is that an opportunity for a company to become more streamlined? And obviously the financing for those type of changes in a company's manufacturing base. So these are the things that are really important right now because, wage inflation doesn't usually go away. And so we're going to be stuck with that for a while. So it's really, helping companies become more nimble, become more streamlined and more efficient.
Yeah, I think I was just reading something the other day, once you increase those wages, well, you have to do it for your whole team and you can't really go back in a few years and go back down. But some of the other prices we can expect to decrease a little bit.
Yeah, hopefully. You look at that last stage of a manufacturer. If they're selling domestically, they'll probably be okay. But then again, you have transportation costs, oil prices, diesel prices. So these are things that are still impacting a lot of companies.
All right. And there's a couple of data points in line with CBIA's Manufacturing Summit. We also put together a survey. And we're not going to give that away just yet, but there is some good news in the survey with business leaders' outlook for the coming year and how businesses profited over the last year when maybe they didn't expect to. What are you hearing from manufacturers that you're working with about their outlook for the coming year and kind of also looking at how they did last year?
I think most companies are coming off a good year. I believe that's true. We're seeing, obviously, in our industry, we get the opportunity to see financial statements every year. And for the most part, it was a good year last year. Coming into this year, it's going to be interesting. I think demand is still there, which is kind of the issue we're having in the economy. How much will the Fed continue to increase rates? And I think it's finally starting to slow down demand. So I think we may see a little bit of a softening. You can argue we're already in a recession, or one is certainly coming. So I think there will be a little bit of a slowdown. I think corporate profits can be strained if you can't pass on those costs to your end buyer. That's going to be a problem for some companies. So you have to really look at your competition. You really have to be looking at your cost structure right now. It's going to be a critical piece to see companies that can and are able to pass on price increases versus those who can't, and those are going to be the ones that are really going to struggle.
Any other advice for small businesses, manufacturers right now? Just prepare for the worst.
You know, for small businesses and even some mid-sized businesses, you have to use what's available out there. So, you know, if you're concerned about cash flow, which every company is, so look at it and say, all right, I can go to a bank and buy a piece of machinery, and they'll give me a 5 or 7 year loan. Well, ask the bank, what if I did this as a SBA working capital or capital program where you can get 10, 12, 15 years amortization. So that's going to greatly increase your cash flow and really help you down the road. So these are the type of things that companies should be looking at and banks should really be suggesting as a way to improve their cash flow.
One of the things that we spoke with a couple of manufacturers who work with TD Bank was just having that relationship to just call someone with TD Bank, have their cell phone number really in so many cases. Yeah. Is that something that you guys, you know, are proud of to provide that customer service?
Absolutely. That's, you know, at the end of the day, as much as we start to say there's more technology, and especially on the consumer side, technology is king. But on the business side, it's still that one-on-one relationship. And what we like to say is, you know, we're a bank that, you know, relates to you and works with you as if we were a small community bank, but we have the resources of an international cash management, working capital facilities, whether it's derivatives to fix some of your cost right now, lock in some rates. We have all those capabilities of the 6th largest bank in the country, but also work with our customers on a one-to-one individual basis.
So as we mentioned at the beginning, TD Bank is sponsoring the 2022 Made in Connecticut Manufacturing Summit again this year at the Oakdale Theater on October 27th. So we're really excited about that, to bring in a lot of manufacturers together, celebrate Manufacturing Month, which we've been seeing already, everything pop up on social media. What are you most excited for this year?
You know, last year was, I think, the first year we did it in person after a few years, and that in and of itself was exciting. So I think this year will be even bigger, and it's great to be at the Oakdale where we have more space and the ability to see more companies. And to me, that is the exciting part. You know, it really is to be person to person with manufacturers, to hear their story. You know, it was funny, a year ago, and I still remember this, and I won't mention the name because I don't want to get them in trouble, but you know, we were talking about just-in-time inventory and what inventory means today in a world constrained by bottlenecks. And he said to me, you know, we went from just-in-time to just-in-case. So that was a great comment to me to say we better be prepared to start looking at inventory financing down the road as companies gear up. But you know, aside from the really important part of meeting people in person, I think the speakers this year are going to be really great. I mean, topics of supply chain and really of talking about how to navigate training and our people. I think those two topics are great, and I think it's really going to be a real value add for everyone there.
Yeah, it's always great to bring different manufacturers, different sizes together and talk about what they're seeing with the supply chain, but also the predictions and advice from people like you. So we're really excited for that, and I think everyone loves the networking aspect of it, right? that's always the best part. Yeah, it brings everyone together. So, and we haven't been to the Oakdale in a couple of years, so that should be nice.
That'll be great. Looking forward to it.
If you're listening and interested in attending the summit, it's not too late to register. Go to cbia.com/events. And thank you so much for being on this week's BizCast, and thank you for listening to this week's BizCast. You can listen to more episodes and subscribe on Apple or YouTube, and for more episodes, head on over to cbia.com.